All right, story time. So, about 2 years ago, I started on a very large project that I knew was going to be big, and it was to basically make the ideal Nerf blaster that I would never really use another one or want another one, or, well, okay, that's a lie. Um, but basically make the blaster that I wanted, that was best in every way that I determined best. So I really, really liked the Straven shell. So I started making this Straven. And as you can see, it is the old Coop cut lines. And it was super awesome, and I got really, really far in it. In fact, this thing is like ready to paint. It is done and ready to paint, and you can actually buy this one. I'm selling it. And then Mr. Nathan went ahead and released his Straven, and his cut lines were so much better than mine, or than the original ones, and I felt bad that I didn't see it sooner, and that it didn't get released sooner, and I went, well, that's too bad, but I've got so much work in this thing. Particularly the big difference is the cut lines here are very different. It looks a lot better on this side of the shell. And I said, you know what, I've got way too much work in on this shell. I can't back out now, so I'm just going to keep going forward. And that was the case for quite some time. So I got this thing completely done, like ready to paint, and I was super happy about it. And I was talking about it with Hawki007, Ben, on Discord at like 2 in the morning about Nerf. And I said, you know, I really don't want to throw this shell out. It's so much work. And he said to me, you are going to be disappointed every single time you look at this thing if you finish it and it isn't exactly what you want. And he was 100% right. And so I posted a while back, probably several months ago at this point, that I shelved this blaster. So this thing got shelved. And I have been working on a new one, which I'm not going to show, but Ben and I have been back and forth about it, and one of the things that I added was quite a bit of BSP stuff, specifically a magwell flare and a clear motor cage expansion. And I have been sharing a lot of the pictures quietly with a couple different people, Ben among them. And he basically, when I showed him the paint, he basically came to me with an offer that I couldn't refuse. And that was, I want to make you crystal clear Straven parts. So you may have seen a while ago that he showed off some crystal clear Straven parts, and they are the only ones in existence that he has said he will ever make. And I beg anyone seeing this, please don't push him. He came to me and approached me and offered to make these for me. I did not in any way ask him. In fact, I tried to tell him, no, it's fine. I have a set of normal yellow clear parts that I'm perfectly happy with. And he said, no, I need to make you crystal clear parts for this blaster. It looks too good to not have crystal clear parts. If you're going to put any of my stuff in there, I need it to be the very best, because anything less than that in something that I've done as much work in would be a detriment to his work. So I agreed. I didn't get them for free. I paid him for them, but he offered to make them for me. So please don't ask him to make them for you. These were purely an offer. So he made them, he showed them in the video, they were awesome, he shipped them to me, and this happened. Shipping was not kind to them. And so I got these home eagerly, and pretty much every single large piece was warped. And that was the end of that. I contacted him, and he said, well, that just won't do. I have to give you good parts. I refuse to send you anything less than the best thing that I can offer. And I said, I mean, if you want to, I told him I'm perfectly happy to use the yellow clear parts, and that's fine. I know one of the reasons why those parts had problems is because they were the crystal clear. And so he said, no, I have to send you the right parts. And that's what this box is, and I promised I would unbox it for him, so I'm going to do just that. So, let's, maybe not, no. Alright, let's unbox, No. Proper unboxing tool. Alright, so this is going to be awful because I'm doing this one-handed, so I apologize if everything is out of frame and awful. And I'm going to go ahead and unbox this. In fact, I'm just going to pause this and cut the box open. So I've got this open now, and Ben said I would laugh when I see how well he had packaged this, because what he did, he told me what he was planning on doing. He was planning on sending me an entire strife so that the parts could not warp in shipping. Now, I think part of this was that he shipped this at the tail end of the... this is all foam. He shipped it at the tail end of Texas summer, and so my guess is it sat somewhere in a truck and got just a little bit too warm. I don't know why he shipped me the magazine, too. There might be a reason for this. Oh, that's brilliant. He shipped the magazine storage for the Raven around an actual magazine so it couldn't warp. Oh, that's brilliant. Huh. I didn't even think about that. That was the one part that I was like, how is he going to ship he's not going to ship a whole Straven or a whole Raven to me. Shoot. So he went ahead and just shipped the parts in situ, as it were. And then so interestingly enough, these are the two parts of the kit that he made that sent me the first time, and these were the two that actually didn't warp. I think mostly because this thing is big enough and blocky enough. This is the Raven mag release. This is big enough, blocky enough that it didn't warp in any appreciable way. So I actually have two of those now. But because of the way that he molds things, they're all on one sprue. So he just has to do the whole mold all in one dump, I believe, is the long and short of it. I'm not going to get into too much details because I know he likes to keep his process pretty under wraps, but he has incredibly well packaged these. Oh wow, yeah, that's and that appears to be perfect. I'm sorry that nothing's in frame. I'm trying to look at it because much like many things, the camera does not necessarily do this justice. So that, he even bored that out for me. Awesome. I do not have a good setup for boring this. I've been doing it by hand and freaking out every single time I'm doing it. Especially because these crystal clear parts, they're much more brittle than the standard yellow clear. So even though the crystal clear looks awesome, in many ways Ben's doing a service to all of the people who buy these by giving you more robust parts with the yellow clear, because they aren't quite as brittle and they wear a little bit better, but the crystal clear looks so good. Yeah, apparently these things sat in the mold for a week, so because that was one of his concerns, is that they didn't he demolded them potentially too soon because he was so eager to get a look at them. And this is a Straven. He said that this was for someone who was doing a Straven build or something like that, and sent him a thing. So, yeah, that's sure enough a Straven build. But this thing, they look to be in perfect shape. All of the parts for the strife. Yeah, bit of a hack job on the strife, but anyways, I digress. The door looks to be perfect. It doesn't retain because the retention for a strafe door is actually from the mechanical interference fit of the switch. So that's to be expected. The trigger on mine was warped as well, but these parts were all actually in perfect. All of the sling mounts were in perfectly fine condition. I'm going to pause again and pull these out of the strafe and get them in my hand so I can take a better look at them. Yep, so I got all of these out. They all look to be in perfect shape. So, mission success, Ben. Mission success. I got these parts, and your ridiculous packaging will be recycled. And it was well worth it because they all got here in perfect shape. So, now I got to figure out, yeah. Anyways, awesome.